Good morning, everyone. Welcome to American Scousers Morning Coffee or Tea with American Scouser on a Wednesday morning, where I am back to being the greatest dad over here and joining us via phone over here because he's having, and that's why we're late, by the way. So I'll blame John right off the bat. Technical difficulty. John is with us. What's going on?
Yeah, I ordered a webcam for one over the last day because I know that my camera has been kind of messed up lately. So yeah, working towards making that better. So I apologize for being late. It's
Actually,
just
your phone quality has always been like,
right. It's an iPhone 14, so it's just funny because it's better than my laptop camera, like you said. I'm just like, yeah, that's funny.
yeah, I
It's
think
really
with the
funny.
laptops they just do can you attend the Zoom meeting? Done kind of a thing. So
Right. Yeah. Yeah. The bare minimum.
good old Gordo can't be here. He's actually working this time. So it's in the past he just said there was work meetings. Now he's actually working, but he'll be back
Yeah.
with us. Jersey is here with us as well. Good morning, everybody. So how are you doing, man? Have you recovered from Sunday, or where are we at here?
No, 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 not really. I'm still pretty bummed. I know you and Matoush have talked about it, and along with Bickler and the Monday pod, you guys have talked about it to death. But I'm still pretty bummed about it. Primarily because listen, it's not about the loss for me. It's about the performance, right? And to quote this gentleman who commented in one of our shorts, the other day, Liverpool didn't look like they got out of the bus, and they didn't throughout the game. Like we only decided to start trying when Chiesa and Co went in, which is the 89th minute, and
Yeah,
that's
by then I don't even know if they're trying or Newcastle
right.
has stopped trying, so they're like
Exactly,
they're sitting back.
exactly. So listen, it's surreal because we've lost a few finals under Klopp, but that wasn't due to a lack of trying. And for me, it's acceptable to lose as long as you gave a la Real Madrid Champions League final in 2022. We played them off the park. We were just unlucky for one specific moment.
Hmm.
I don't know about the. I don't know, Tim. It's for
Yeah,
me.
I don't
It's
know. Isn't that worse? I feel like that's worse. I'm more disappointed when it's like that personally, where
well,
you
me personally.
deserve to win the
Yeah.
way you play, but you don't.
Well, at least you gave the effort to try and justify it. We have no excuse here. We just looked awful. So it's hard to get over. It's just for me, it's tougher to get over something when you know your guys can do better and they didn't. So yeah.
That's weird, man. I mean, yeah, I don't know. I've like been over it since Monday. For some reason, I haven't even thought about it until
That's
like
good for
this.
you, man. It's
Yeah, I mean,
probably
I don't
the
know. It was like League Cup had no business winning it the way we played. In some ways, um, you had to go there. Just yeah. I mean, I was like, I don't know. I've been fine with it. I mean, not fine with it. I mean, it sucks because it's a
yeah.
final that on paper you should have won. We played these guys like 2 3 weeks ago, pretty much dominated. And I know, like we talked about it then. They were probably doing it like NFL preseason. They were not showing all their cards. Joe Linton wasn't out there. This
Isak wasn't out there.
Joe Linton is more important than Gordon. But yeah, that's the thing. Gordon wasn't there. Livermore was playing left back, Trippier on the right hand side. I thought there were so many things going for us that I thought we could take advantage of, but we didn't. And it's like, okay. But going back to that, I almost would feel worse if we played really good and did not win it, because I think that's like a bigger disappointment. You're like, man, we deserved it.
Yeah, it's just a shock to the system for me because I always thought of our team as a big game squad, and with especially our vets, Verge,
Yeah.
Robbo, Salah. Whenever there's a big game, those guys always put the pedal to the metal, so to speak, and just being so lethargic, just being so passive to start off. I was like, what is going on here? Like, you cannot tell me that the plan was to hoof the ball to 5'9" Diogo Jota and win it over 6'7" Dan Burn. Like,
Yeah,
it's just ridiculous.
it was not
Like,
good. So, I mean, tactically it was bad. Performance-wise, it was bad.
yeah,
And I think people make way too much of the substitutions that came on afterwards. and kind of like taking that and like blowing up to the season and stuff like that, which we like kind of like always do. It's like the backup quarterback syndrome. They're like, oh, he came in and threw a couple of passes at the end. They're like, like how like a team is getting demolished. They put the backup for the last drive. It's like, well, I think
Right.
put them off the field.
So I guess Tim, we kind of talk about it over the last few weeks, and you said that you don't buy the heavy legs excuse. Wasn't that like the biggest indication of heavy legs, our performance in that final? I remember a specific moment where Gravenberg was filling in at center half, and he just dribbled the ball out of play and just looked into the sky and sighed. It looks like he couldn't go on. I was like,
Yeah, I mean,
that
a
looked like
couple of
heavy.
the
Yeah,
players, it
right.
could be like
Mm,
leg. I just hated when, like, we play bad. They're
right.
like, you look tired. So that's like a
Fair. That's
really,
fair.
I
Yeah.
feel like that's like a really like a cop out of saying like, oh, they look tired, or that they wanted it, the other team wanted it more. And so I feel like those are like just like really shitty cliches that people throw out there. I think midfield as a whole looked tired, and it
Yeah.
is probably tired. But like, I don't know, these guys had just like a week off 2 weeks ago. It's an accumulation, obviously, of the whole season. But I mean, you can't say that for like every spot across the pitch that's like
True. True.
they're tired. So
Yeah.
it's kind of like, in midfield, I think your boy has had a huge drop. And I think that's really the biggest difference in that midfield. So Soboslai is still doing his running. McAllister is still doing his thing. I think that the person has dropped off the most is Gravenberg. And I guess the question is it tired legs? Is it people figuring them out?
I
Uh,
think it's a little
Somebody
bit
was
both.
asking, he's like, how come he doesn't do the turns anymore? I don't know if he's like, people are like I say, there's tape. You study these players before you play them,
Mm,
especially for a
yeah.
final. So you're like,
Yeah.
don't go into a situation. You don't press them at like this angle and stuff like that, so that you enable them to turn. I think I'm hoping it's just tire legs, and it's
Right.
not a matter of him being found out.
I think for the final specifically, for some reason, right, Newcastle were pressing us very high, and we were afraid to play out of it. Like I know it's their strength, right? But our strength as a team under Slot this year is not hoofing up the ball to Jota or Diaz and hoping that they win. It's giving it to Gravenberg or McAllister or Saboslai when they come down, get the ball, try to build and control it. At least that's how I interpret our strength. I felt like we were too intimidated by their press to start and
I
decided to
don't
take the
know.
short. I think it was like, why else are we hoofing the ball up to Jota to
I
try and
mean,
win
we
it from
moved the
six?
ball up before. I mean, the whole thing is, if you pull them all the way up, right, for the
Right,
press. If they're coming up all the way to press up, Gravenberg or McAllister receiving the ball,
right,
we've done this a lot where we've gone back to Ali and Keller and
and hoof it, right,
have them play the diagonal
right. But
to either
Newcastle,
Diaz and Mo. And I think this is the issue here is that we didn't get anything out of that.
right,
Like
because
normally
Newcastle,
you hoof the
yeah,
ball, but
yeah,
you get
Newcastle
something out of
anticipated
it.
that. Newcastle anticipated that we hoof the ball to beat their press. So they put in a 6-7 monster there to
Well,
win every single ball. You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of prime Klopp. We push extremely high up Henderson, Wijnaldum, Firmino, Mane, Salah, that very high press. We know that the team can't handle the press, so they're gonna kick the ball long. No one wins a header against Prime Virgin, Prime Matic. So we control games. That's
but we
how I
don't do like the Jota thing. I didn't understand, but when we did send it to, usually we send it to Diaz and or Mo, right?
right.
I mean, actually, a couple of weeks ago we talked about Mo being our best like
Right.
hold up play guy.
But
You just did not get that.
they had mobile midfielders who can protect their fullbacks like we did back then.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
did. I
Like
mean, Mo did not have a good game.
yeah.
You can blame Ramadan or whatever you can blame.
Yeah.
I mean, Diaz really, for all the crap he gets, I thought he was the only threat when we got the ball, doing something with it. But I don't know. It could be a matter of.
Yeah.
Here's another thing: these guys just came out of disappointing penalty shootouts,
I guess. Yeah.
overtime and stuff like that, going against like PSG. So they were already beat down from PSG, who was a good team and made us run around as opposed to, the other way around where we control the ball and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was just ugly all around. I mean, you go look at that and it's 2-1. I did not even like when it was 2-1. I was like maybe, but it wasn't like
It's too late. It was
yeah,
too
like
late.
too nervous waiting for it to happen or anything like that.
And
Just
and
didn't almost. Well, I felt like unfair if we came back from
yeah,
that. It would be a miracle, but
and the thing is, if you're like any sort of ethical person, you'd not want us to get a result out of that.
oh,
Like
I'll
you,
take that anytime.
oh,
I mean, I
I
know what
know,
you
I know what
mean.
you mean. I know what you
Yeah.
mean. But then in terms of like like an objective view, we did, we deserve to get beat by like 4 goals the way we performed throughout that game.
Yeah, I mean, really,
Yeah,
it probably should have been.
yeah,
But I mean, I don't know. Overall, it just looked like physically weaker, always a step
yeah.
behind. It was just not pretty. But I don't know. The problem is, I mean, the international break coming now. Obviously, not coming now. We are in it.
It's in
I
full.
think I don't know if there are games today. I know for a fact there are games tomorrow. But I mean, actually, let's look at that. Are there games today? I don't think there is.
I'm more concerned because I think I sent it on the morning show Discord server that we have a massive contingent of people going. So that this 14-day break, no, was it 14, 17-day break or whatever that we're looking forward to might not be the break that we're hoping for certain people, right? A
Yeah.
la McAllister, so on and so forth. The only person I can see who this break benefits actually is Gakpo because he can get some mileage under that legs and get back to game
Yes.
sharpness. But in terms of like the rest, like we should have pulled off the old United. Oh, they're dealing with something. They're going to stay home kind of deal. It's
Yeah,
just
let's see over
yeah,
there who can
yeah,
benefit. Hold on, let me pull that up because I know
yeah.
you did send it over here. Um, there's a lot of people there. I mean, honestly, like some of them,
Elliot maybe, yeah. Kwanzaa.
Elliot's, Endo. I mean, yeah, they should probably get some minutes over there. Okay, let's pull it up over here. Um, Costa's getting some experience.
Your boy, man.
Yeah, I mean, like especially like I mean, I really mostly worry about like Gravenberg and stuff like that. Like
Oh yeah,
midfield is the only play. I mean, Turkey is playing Hungary back and forth, in the playoffs. So we play tomorrow and then again on Sunday. And I think that's the only good deal is they're done over the weekends.
mm,
So, they're gonna have a full week after that. It's not one of these where, at least for like most of the European teams, they're not going to do something where they're gonna, play on Wednesday, fly Thursday, and all that kind of stuff. So, um,
Netherlands. The Netherlands played Spain twice. They play today on the Nations League and then on Sunday.
yeah. So all these playoffs are basically Thursday, Sunday, I think. So and I think the other ones are like mostly friendlies from what I know. I think the only
Right.
official ones are like these. So these are the next 5 fixtures over here. Salah was marked out of the game. Oh, okay. I thought like he was referencing the international break.
Damn, I was like Salah no showed again. Listen, I feel like Tim. Sorry to go back to the final there. The reason why Salah and like our attackers were so easy to like, and this is like an extension of the PSG game. Trent not being there is a massive loss. Like you and me, like if we were facing a guy like Kwanzaa at right back, we would see, yeah, let him have the ball and see what happens because we know nothing's gonna happen. Like that run forward he had with Joe Linton tracking back, I can tell you, not one Newcastle fan was like, heart and mouth stuff. It helps. You can double up, triple up on Salah because again, this isn't a diss on Kwanzaa. He's a decent player. He's just a guy playing out of position, and
Yeah.
that's the harsh truth. Like the other team recognizes that, and they'll adjust for it. So in terms of breaking through the press, in terms of finding options, not to put off the excuse bandwagon because I know Newcastle are missing a lot of players as well. Trent has been a big miss these last 2 days in terms of our
Well, he
overall
was there for
performance.
the PSG game.
He was there, and we were, and to be fair to him, when he was there, like you mentioned, that second half, they could barely get a sniff of the ball.
Yeah.
Then when he got subbed off of injury, Kwanzaa came in. We were a little.
Wait. I'm not putting the second half because Trent was there, though.
No, well, he's a part. He's a part of that,
Well, he's a
though.
part of it
Yeah,
as much
yeah,
as
he's a part of it. Like,
Robinson's a part of it. I mean, it
yeah,
does give another threat of somebody breaking, like passing between the lines and stuff like that. I mean, I thought Kwanzaa did well. it's just a matter of, yeah. I mean, first of all, he's playing out of position. Second of all, he
Yeah,
does not have that, like the long diagonal, like
yeah,
threats and stuff like that. He was kind of like, and in some ways, like I know that's part of the game in terms of like what we do and what
yeah.
that position does. But
Oh yeah,
within that, you got to understand that there are certain things you can do. There's certain things you can do well. There's certain things you can do not as well. So you just gotta kind of like know that and not keep trying. I think it was I can't remember, it was the final of the PSG game. I was like, okay, like stop trying to do these because that's not your thing. Just play your own game. I thought he
yeah.
did well on the PSG game when he came into
Oh
actually
yeah. He
was
he
one of the
did
like
it
brighter spots. And he
right.
actually like he was better than in terms of being a threat. Trent going up the line, like doing the overlap. The only issue is one, obviously you go to delivery, and two, Trent is sometimes more dangerous when he gets the ball like a little past midfield and he can
Right.
pass between the lines and stuff like that.
And
That you don't have that threat, I guess, as a
it's
defender.
yeah, and it's the attention, right? Like even though Trent's having a bad game, you'd still want to have eyes on him.
Yes.
And a pair of eyes on him is another pair of eyes taken away off of Salah. Where if we had that on the final, maybe he would have had more space to. I don't recall him like getting into a situation where he has the ball in the right wing and looking for a guy to make an outside of the foot pass until like the 90th minute. That's how
Yeah.
difficult it was for Mo. And again, it's not entirely his fault, right? But then at the same time, that's the only thing people will look at. What did he do? Nothing,
Yeah,
right?
but I
Yeah,
thought like even the times where he has the ball and he's
yeah.
going on Livramento, I kind of expected a lot more. Maybe Livramento being a bigger dude, but I mean he's gone against some like physical left backs and
Oh
stuff
yeah,
like that and come
yeah.
out on the better side of things, and he did not. I mean,
Mm,
like I say, like nobody did, but it's the. I mean, I don't know about like Aaron keeps calling this the Mickey Mouse Cup. If you're in the final, you got to win the final, and you got to
right.
well. That's the expectation. And if it's a trophy, you want a trophy.
It's. It,
I mean,
I
you got to
feel
be
like
able to say a double. I don't care if it's Mickey Mouse or Donald Duck.
if
At the
if
end of the day, it's a
if you're
double.
at the if you're at like the quarterfinal stage, I feel like you start taking it seriously because it's just a number of wins more for a trophy. And listen, we've won the Carabao Cup the most times out of any club.
Yeah.
So we take this competition and we take pride in it. Like I would have loved for us to get number 11, mind you. Like
Yeah,
to
I
get
mean that's
to,
the thing.
yeah,
I think
yeah,
like if you win it, like
yeah,
first of all, you make it a double probably for the season, which would be like a
right,
nice thing in this slots first season and stuff. I think if you get eliminated early on, at least you can kind of do the consolation of, well,
yeah,
it'll help us down the road with less
right.
fixtures, blah blah blah. But yeah, I mean, we talked about this before. To me, they're the same as FA Cup. I know they're not in the grand scheme of things, and to most people, for me, it is. It is what it is. But
Right.
yeah, I mean, you do want to win it, but I mean, you didn't. You had no business really winning it. You kind of needed a break in some ways. So this is coming at a pretty darn good time. And like, let's go back to those fixtures there. And
Oh
you
man.
have some favorable fixtures here.
Yeah,
Uh,
we do. We do.
Everton home, you don't look at the league position because it's Everton, but it's a game that they should be up for. Fulham away is a tough fixture, really. But then West Ham home, Leicester away, Spurs home. 15 possible points here. Mind you, if you get all 15, it's
The league
done.
is done. Yeah.
But I don't even think you have to get all 15 to get, because that basically means Arsenal is getting 15 from their next 5 games as well. While I pull that up to see who they're going to play against, tell me out of this 15 what you expect.
Number of points that you're
Yeah,
saying, I would say 13 minimum. I would say 13 out of
30
15.
minimum. Jesus,
Yeah, yeah.
what's going
I
on?
feel no. I feel like the away game against Fulham will be a tricky one, honestly, because although they're kind of like in I wouldn't say no man's land. They're they're in a position where they're safe. They know they're safe, no matter what happens, I guess, because the bottom three is just so bad, and they're a decent enough side that any team below them they can give them a game, and any team above them as well they can give them a game. So I feel like that will be the tricky one. I mean, obviously, in an
You're
ideal
taking
world,
the other ones as like wins.
sorry,
You're taking like the Everton home as a win and Spurs home as a win, and
yes,
Fulham away as a draw. Okay.
yes. Everton home is going to be a tough game, but it's still a win. I feel like for me, in terms of the rest that we get, hopefully, knock on wood, we come back, play a little bit more like we did, prior to February, prior to March, and after what happened at Goodison last December, I feel like the players are going to be up for it. No, not December, January or wherever. The
Yeah,
players are
that's
going to
a
be,
good
yeah,
point. Actually, there
yeah.
has to be. I mean, they're like. I don't think you need any incentives at this point, but I know what you mean. It's kind of like that could be
To be,
something that
yeah,
you circled on the calendar and said,
right,
you know, yeah, you guys
yeah,
gonna come home and stuff. Especially slots, we know how he kind of like does those things, like with the whole forest thing and stuff like that. So I think there'll be like multiple points to prove. There'll be a point to prove about that, like the reverse fixture, and there'll be a
mhm,
point to prove about, hey, we're still the Premier League, hopefully
leaders.
winners over here. I'll give you Arsenal's schedule right here. They come back, play Fulham at home. So they kind of reversed it actually. They play Fulham at home. They go
Mhm,
away to Everton.
two draws written right there.
Really?
Yeah.
Uh, their other league games are Brentford at home,
Mhm,
which Brentford, we always talk about this on the panel show, was a team that was great at home, sucked away, and now they're suck at home, great away. Somehow they flipped the scenario, but they play Brentford at home, away to Ipswich, Crystal Palace at home, and they have the two Real Madrid games sandwiched between, like basically on both sides of the Brentford game. So they have Champions League games in there as well.
mm.
So I don't see them getting 15 points out of that match either.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. That away to Everton is just gonna be where they lose it. I feel because
Yeah.
without Saka, without. I mean, I heard
I thought
Arteta's.
Saka was coming back in
Yeah,
April. I
yeah,
don't think, like even if he comes back, look, I've been saying this for freaking like weeks over here. Like this team
right,
was not like scoring left and right before. I mean,
right,
Saka will come
exactly.
back and take the corner kick, so that will help the cause, I guess. But
Yeah,
they were not always like like free flowing, like attacking. Like people take end of last season and try to project to the entirety of this season, and that's not the case. And you go away to Everton, that is a tough place to go to. Mind you,
right.
even Ipswich is a tough place to go to, but they're going to be all over the
Yeah,
place. But Crystal Palace has been in good form. And the thing with Crystal Palace and Brentford is probably the teams that Arsenal does not want to face because they are going to sit back and they're both really good on the counter.
yeah.
So they can be dangerous on the counter.
Teams that are gonna test their ability to break through a low block, I feel like is gonna. Granted, they do have the set piece threat, but without like an actual nine in there, like an actual nine, like a Havertz or whomever, and of course Saka, who even if he does come back, like you mentioned, is not going to be 100%. Like,
Yeah.
uh, it's just really funny, like the people who are throwing, oh, now we're gonna lose the league. I hate that, man. I absolutely hate that. Like, it's I know emotions are raw and everything, but I just want to throw hands. I just want to crash out. Like at that point where it's just like calm down. Like it was a bad week. We've been through tougher weeks, right? We've been through
Yeah.
tougher weeks, but that a tough week doesn't erase a 12-point lead where we have a decent next run of games coming up. Like, let's calm down, people.
That's
Seriously.
another thing. I mean, you would have to lose a lot of games, a team
Right.
that has only lost one game in the league. And yeah,
Exactly.
that's the stuff that is going to be a very tiring last 2 months over here. Because then the moments, I mean, in our own Discord over there, people started suddenly like we're talking about nothing but contracts again. It's like freaking back to like 3 months ago.
Oh,
And then yes, I I don't think we've had the big meltdown in the Discord channel. One thing that I'm proud of, in terms of like level of discussion, we haven't had the meltdown like league is gonna be gone and stuff like that that I see in social media all over the place. Like people are like, oh, they're gonna bottle this and stuff like that. Having said that, yeah, I mean, if we don't win the title, I might take a year off. We were talking about this Matush on Monday.
yeah, I think I might in honor of our Japanese viewers there, if we have some, I might commit seppuku if that's the case. Like if we somehow lose the league title at this point, I'm just gonna find myself a vintage katana and just listen.
I
I
like
know.
how you get the best of things for everything. You're like, I'm gonna get a vintage one, just not a
Yeah,
regular
yeah,
one.
yeah, absolutely, man. If I'm going out, I'm going out in style with the best crafted blade. I want it quick, man. So I want something that just cut through everything really quickly. So
Yeah, you want people to be impressed coming in and like they're like, did you guys see the blade? By the way, that's
Yeah,
nice.
it's gonna be in my graves in my gravestone. Like Liverpool bottled the league. He couldn't take it. He just
Trevor said, plus it's Arsenal trying to make up that gap, and I think that's like the biggest thing. Maybe honestly, like Trevor has a point. I think part of my comfort level is not that we will not lose 12 points from now until the end of the season.
yeah,
My comfort level is Arsenal's not going to win every game anyway.
yeah,
Even if you do lose 12 points, mind you, it's 13 points because we have the goal differential too, unless somebody just like hammers us or something like that, like brings us. So
yeah, yeah.
Aaron says at least this time we can draw our way to the title. Even Aaron is not freaking out, and he's Mr. Meltdown. So if Aaron is not freaking out, I don't understand why so many people on social media are, like just going over the edge. And I just freaking hate the fact that, I know we're gonna talk about it, and I'm all for like the, long-term planning, logical conversations and stuff like that. But we're first of all shooting off the hip a lot because we don't know what's happening with the 3 contracts
Yeah.
and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
We don't really know what Slot wants. We're kind of like speculating on that end. But like the whole
Mm.
like the contract conversation coming back out. Well, nobody was talking about the contract when we freaking like beat City and then Newcastle and stuff. But
Yeah.
then the moment something goes, they're like, and they didn't sell these contracts either and stuff. It's just like,
It's
you're freaking serious. Like, and here's the thing: how many times can we talk about the contracts and not understand why? Like, people are, I can't believe they're still leaving it. I just don't, like, I can understand the moron on social media, but people like pundits going on TV and saying and being asked the question by like the host is like, it's
right.
really crazy, isn't it, that they have not finished it yet? Like, I can't be the only guy in the world thinking that, hey, they can't just sign 2, they can't just sign 1 and throw the other ones under the bus. But having said that, you will know this one way or the other before the final home game and stuff like that. Obviously.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I mean, nothing is going to happen. Like, I highly doubt during the international break, suddenly people are going to sign and stuff.
Mm.
Do you
Yeah.
think something comes out once the title is won, like mathematically? Or do they
Logically,
wait for the week before the last week?
logically, I feel like once the pressure is off, once we've won it, that's I feel like when stuff like that is probably going to come down. And like you mentioned, it's a good point. Like if the final game of the season, that's when they give all the guards of honor and stuff.
Yeah.
When they start giving Mo frame jerseys, now I think it's confirmed, right? When they start giving Virgil a frame jersey and they start giving him a guard of honor, I feel like that's when we can go like, oh shit. Yeah, they're not coming back, are they? So,
But don't
yeah,
they have to, like, because that's the weird thing, right? Like, even if they're gonna sign a contract, don't they have to, like, at the end almost like do a pretend thing? Like,
no,
how
no,
they do it in NFL, like 49ers like release use check. And they
right.
did like a thank you, like thing on Instagram.
No,
Blah,
no.
blah, blah.
I
And
mean,
then a week later they resign them. So I don't know, like they would do something like similar where
well,
they have to
to
do the guard of honor.
to be fair, but our track record, when Klopp left, right, that whole thing where Thiago came out, Matip came out because
Yep.
we knew they were gone, right? So I feel like if we do it, I feel like it's a good signifier that they are really gone,
And that's
right?
why I think we
Yeah,
would probably find out before, but
yeah.
you're not going to find out now. People
No,
like
not now. Yeah,
over the last 2 months were like, why are they not in it? There's nothing new and stuff like that. It's like, dude, like I don't understand how people don't understand, and that's where I'm getting stuck. And
yeah,
like I just don't understand how people do not comprehend why they can't just be like, we signed these 2, and this asshole here won't just sign. Have a nice day, everybody, and then just call it a day. It just does not work like that. And then, like, I'm sure like Trent would not want that, which we don't even know if he's played his last game. Doesn't sound like it's as bad. So he'll come back for some like cameo appearances and stuff like that, but doesn't look like he's going to be back
yeah,
soon, is what it sounded like
yeah.
from like Klopp.
It's just in terms of like the whole Trent issue, I'm looking at it from a broader perspective that it looks like under the slot system we need a proper right back. So if assuming Trent leaves, it looks like from his injury record over the last 2 years, Bradley isn't as dependable as we would like.
No.
So we definitely need someone there who's like got a solid
Frimpong,
right.
dude. Did you see that? He's already got the Scouse accent down and everything. So bring him over, pull
Listen,
him on.
I love how you're just like, we're going with the contract talks again. Then you just bring up like a rumor from somewhere like regarding
I don't know,
transfers.
who is like doing the Scots accent over there to grab a
You
version?
think so? Listen, man. If you think that it might happen, I might actually buy it because you're like Mister Anti-transfer. Any rumor, you're just like, nah,
Dude,
that's
well,
not gonna.
I'm screwed this year. I am screwed because it's not even gonna. Normally, we start this shit at June.
Right?
We're basically, it has started already.
Yeah.
Uh, so it's just going to be.
At least at least it's starting for the right reasons because we know we've got the league pretty much on lockdown very early, and it's for a good reason why we're starting on summer talk. We got a league title. It could be worse. We could be talking about transfers because we have nothing to play
My
for. Right.
biggest fear, and I've said this
Right.
on Discord as well, that I really think the year we were afraid this year would be is going to be next year, where it's going to
Hmm.
be so many new pieces. It's going to be like, yeah, these guys, and then that's when we
Yeah.
will be like, is Slot going to make it happen again? Because the whole like club to slot was not as big of a change, but I don't know if it will be if we're
Yeah.
doing this the other way around. Cody Foss is in the house. What's going on? How about giving? I
Calvin.
mean, might
Oh,
as well
that's
give
the
me
name.
a chance. I mean, okay, I think you answered your own question where you said he's really had some bright games for Kilmer. I mean, that's the problem with him. Um, First of all, I mean, I don't know. You would think he would come and like to camp or something like that, like the summer and stuff like that.
Right.
But I don't know, man. If they saw something, we rarely loan out a guy. How old is Calvin? Isn't he like early 20s?
He's still very young, to be fair. And um, what was his name?
21.
What was his name during the last preseason? Carvalho, right? If he didn't want to leave, Slot would have probably found a way to fit him in his plans, wouldn't he? Right? Like he could. It's because he didn't want to play left wing,
Where was
even
he
though
gonna play?
no, Slot was going to play him left wing. It's just that he didn't want to play left wing, so which is why we sold him, right?
I think
But
that was Slot's way of saying you're not gonna play in the middle.
oh, you
So
think
if
so?
you're gonna
Okay,
play
that's
anywhere,
fair.
you're gonna play on left wing. And he was
That's
like,
fair.
I don't
I
play left
guess
wing. I
I
play
guess
in
the
the
point that
middle.
I'm trying to make is I feel like if Slot can find if he finds something for him, no matter what how much he's been loaned out, I feel like he'd accommodate him. It's just up to how Slot sees the fit. But then, to your point, I'm not that confident with Calvin Ramsey. I feel like we should go to the market definitely.
See, this is the tricky part because Darwin says
Is
Darwin the
that Gordo?
many many Scottish fans say he's the right-sided version of Robo. I think the issue there is, and I don't know the answer to this either, mind you, but it's more like a question out there for everybody: is Robo the kind of left back that Slot wants? Like
Exactly.
we don't
Yeah.
really know, right? Like I mean, when the other option is Costas, the first option goes without saying. So and with him, like obviously aging, I think we know now that Robertson is good, but he should not play more than once a week. So I think you put Darwin is a good would be yeah. I mean, I think it would like
Sorry.
an ideal scenario for me would be, like you bring somebody, but I don't know if that's the ideal scenario for Robertson either. Like if you bring in a starter like Kirkes or somebody like that, and have Robertson back him up, or do we sell Robertson because he wants to go somewhere and play? But
Hmm.
going back to what Darwin the Goat is saying, I have like stopped trying to, and I think this is why people who run the club and not fans, because these like the problem with I have with fans is they will want. So now everybody is like, Elliot should get more minutes. This guy should get more minutes. This guy should get more minutes, right? Everybody is like listing these names, all the backup quarterbacks sitting on the bench. This guy should play more. Why is he not getting minutes? He should be getting a lot more minutes, all this kind of stuff. When these guys played against Plymouth, or when these guys played in other games, this bench was not good enough. We needed better players. These guys are not good. So
Yeah,
make
you
up your
can't.
goddamn mind. Is he
Right.
really good and he should get more minutes, or he's not good enough for you? So fans say shit like that. Fans want whoever is not playing to play. That's what's cost. Like who's leaving? Somebody has to go to get him. And then when they do play, then it's not like like we see what they are. They're not good
Yeah.
enough and stuff like that.
It's
So
it's
I think
um
that's what it is. and like I'm not picking on the Plymouth game, but I'm just saying whenever they do go out there, the it becomes these guys are not good enough. We need better depth and stuff. You see what we got,
Yeah.
they can't play when they start and stuff like that. So like which one is it? And that's why there's a reason some of these guys do not play and or maybe not get as many minutes. Do I want like we all thought Elliott would get a lot more minutes, right?
Yeah.
From his cameo appearances. For some reason, I mean, obviously he can't do what. I mean, I'll ask you this question because I was asking Bickler as well. Like players like Ando, Elliott, like who do a job and have a different set of skills than the
Yeah.
guys who are starting.
Right.
Which obviously, if the guys who are starting, they fit the system better, right? The
Yes.
manager likes them
Yes.
more. Do you
Yes.
want the guys sitting on the bench be guys that can come in and give you something different? Or do you want guys on the bench who can just come in and do whatever the other guy is going to be able to do, maybe just better or just like, or he has fresher legs, etc.
Obviously, I feel like Slot is a plan A, like plan A being on the pitch and plan A being on the bench kind of guy to answer that question. But for this season
So
specifically,
wait. So you're
yeah,
saying lots would want like people that are not maybe the same style as the guys on the pitch sitting on the side.
no, he'd want a Gravenberg to replace a Gravenberg, if
Okay,
that makes sense.
okay.
Yeah, he'd want a Gravenberg to replace a Gravenberg, a McAllister to replace a McAllister, if that makes sense. But he doesn't have that luxury this season, and unfortunately, we paid for it. Like, obviously, it's hindsight 2020 and all that, but given how things have kind of fallen off over the last week, and again, hindsight 2020, I feel like we could have compromised the style at times by playing an Endo where Gravenberg was. We're playing an Endo where McAllister was. We're playing. Granted, Elliott was only active at the turn of the year, so the whole Saboslai thing, I feel like that argument isn't there. But in future seasons, if he doesn't get the players that he wants in terms of a backup, I feel like he should be, what he has on the bench isn't necessarily a one is to one to their corresponding starter. I feel like there has to be times where Slot has to compromise and come up with a lineup, a rotated lineup where it's not necessarily the players that fit the style best that are starting, but for the sake of longevity, for the sake of being able to compete and go further in competitions like we have it this year, he's gonna have to compromise if that makes sense. So, for example, next year, if let's say we stick with the same squad, right? I feel like he's going to have games where he has to start Endo over Gravenberg and be fine with it for the sake of rotation and just bring back maybe Gravenberg with the 30-minute, 30th last 30 minutes or whatever if there's a result that needs to be chased. Because you can't have guys like dropping down like flies. We're fortunate that the league is what it is right now, Tim. But imagine if this was a tight race, we'd probably be screwed, wouldn't we?
I know
Like,
we will be. Like, I don't understand why people say this. Like,
no,
we're
no,
on pace to be able to get 90 points. It's not like we're
no,
like
right.
stumbling across.
We're on the course to get 90 points, but then at the same time, City does not have Rodri. Or I'm not saying that we're lucky. I feel like we've earned every single step of the way. But in terms of anticipating that our rivals would be stronger next year,
Oh,
anticipating that our rivals will be adding more players, they'll be getting players back. I feel like we have to be a bit more wiser with our rotation in terms of Slot, having to compromise sometimes in terms
see,
of
I
his
don't
style.
think he's going to, and I don't want him to compromise because I mean, you play a certain style. So if Endo can't do what McAllister or Jones or Gravenberg can do, I
Right.
mean, so you're basically saying, okay, we're not going to build the play, then we're going to play long ball. Like some of the things you're having to adjust are really out there to be able to adjust. You're not just putting in a guy that he's not as skilled as McAllister. You're putting a guy who's like totally freaking different.
Right. I get that, Tim.
So you can't change your style that much to be able to, I think, compensate for that. And I
I
understand
get that.
what
Yeah.
Cody's saying. Like you
Yeah.
can't take some of these games. But here's the thing: that's the only thing that us fans have to see, right? I mean, whereas these guys do a lot on the
Yeah.
training pitch and whatever they're doing over there, like with Chiesa, with Elliott and stuff like that. And I don't know, like, has Chiesa got taken every chance Chiesa is like the James Harden of freaking soccer sometimes. When he plays, like it's like all isolation, everything has to come through him. He's trying to almost fit in a 90 minutes game in like the 15 minutes he's in there. And that's fair. He's not used to being a sub. So that's kind of like a different mentality to get into and stuff like that. But my thing is, I mean, we thought early in the season, and we like talked about it, that um, like he is slot has changed, and we were saying early in the season, oh, he's subbing a lot earlier, and these are going to like really pay off come February, March, and stuff like that. Now we're not going to fall, but um, we're finding out now that the 5 minutes here, 10 minutes there are not the same as doing what you're saying and actually not starting the guy and giving the other guy a start and stuff like that. And like reports coming out is Chiesa is immaculate in training. From like I saw that. I mean, what immaculate in? So why isn't Chiesa not playing then? He like Slot doesn't like Italians. I mean, like why would he go out of his way not to play a guy who's really really good? I just don't
Mo's
thinking.
Yeah, maybe just Mo's just been just even better, like
But I mean,
irreplaceable.
utilize him. I always thought he should be like playing for Sobotla. Like and earlier,
I actually saw him. I actually saw him as maybe a left wing or the false nine where Jota is right now, coming through the middle.
That. Yeah, I mean, looks like he can go into. I mean, when he's come in, he's gone on the left wing usually, right?
Yeah.
When he makes his cameos and stuff like that. See, I'm not buying this. So Diaz in the middle is not a risk.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't understand why a manager would be like, no, like I'm not. He didn't even give him like 30 minutes here. He hasn't even like put him in early. There has to be a reason. I don't know the reason myself either, but there has to be a reason. They talk about, like in the beginning it was fitness, but God knows we would be fit by now to play after 6 months in the Premier League if we were training with the team for 6 months. So I don't know what is it that is stopping him from getting more minutes. But I guess I'll ask you that because I was asking Victor about this. Do you think, especially like we looked at the fixture, we get a couple of these 3 points over here and almost make it from 95% to 98% to win the title? Do you think we'll see a run of games, if you will, for guys like Chiesa, like Elliott and stuff, similar to what we did with Jones at the end of last season, where he started the last 6 games?
If it's not sealed yet mathematically, I feel like he still goes with his best 11 every time. But when it's sealed, that's when he starts doing experimenting.
So once it's mathematically done, you're saying?
Yes, that's when he starts.
Do you see them start?
Sorry?
Do you see them start? Like Chiesa is starting up the middle? No.
Absolutely. Absolutely not. Well, I feel like he comes in for more chances, like 20 minutes there, 30 minutes there. But in terms of starting out right, no, I don't think he does. At least based on our sample size this year on how Slot operates.
He's going to be playing once a week too, so there's
right. Yeah. Like you'd think, right, that these guys are as fresh as they can be with the schedule at this point. And going back to what we were talking about a while ago, I feel like a lot of this discussion that we have is mitigated if Slot gets his players. If he gets a backup for Gravenberch that plays like Gravenberch, a backup for McAllister that plays close to McAllister, then we don't have this conversation of compromising.
But that's what I mean. Yeah. Do you go after that, or would you rather have guys on the side that?
How do you see Slot? I see him as going for more of a like for like guy.
I do think so too.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go. Don't get this conversation started, dude, because now John is gonna sell like 95%. John,
hey, you kind of convinced me with Diaz. Like, I still feel like I still kind of feel like if there's an upgrade on him, in theory, I would. But then you make a good point about the structure, about trying to change too much. But obviously, Darwin is gone, so that's a certainty.
I mean, Darwin, the GOAT, keeping Darwin is not going to surprise anybody. But he's keeping Darwin and Gakpo. Okay, he's not slashing that. He's not slashing. He's keeping Mo. Sorry. So he's keeping Mo, Darwin, Gakpo, selling Jota,
and Lucha. See the thing about that. Like, I get Darwin has a lot of more upside, but Slot clearly doesn't rate him. When he was healthy, he still had Diaz playing the 9, and that says it all.
It's a great upside if we were doing like a
Right. Like I mean, if you're comparing him to Jota, obviously, like because I feel like Jota is Jota. He's a finished product. But in terms of what Slot looks like for a nine, looks for from a nine, I feel like keeping Jota would make the most sense if he was going to pick between either of those two, right? Listen, my friend. Like I don't know how long you've been watching. I was in the Darwin train at a certain point last year. I was hyping the guy up. He just never builds on anything, man. He just never builds on anything.
I want to
To yeah,
know. I want Darwin to go to tell us what makes
is
you
this
think
Gordo?
he will
Is this
improve
Gordo?
so much, and then what is he at? I really
Is
want
this
to know. Like,
Gordo?
what is he
Is
at?
this no seriously? Before you go, Tim, is this Gordo? Because I feel like this has to be Gordo.
You know,
This has
Darwin
to
has
be
been on before when we had Gordo on, so we've seen him in
okay.
both at the same time. Yeah.
Okay, got it. Okay, got
Um,
it.
I really want to know, like, what makes anybody think? What have we seen?
Right.
He's been here what, 3 seasons?
It's 3 seasons
How is
now.
Darwin
Yeah,
this season as a player better than the Darwin 3 seasons ago? What has he? What area has he improved in?
yeah.
He
It's
adds pace, work rates. No, see, like, no, don't do this. Don't do this. Running around aimlessly is not work rates. That's
yeah,
not work rate. I mean, yes, he runs. He runs full speed, and when he runs full speed, he's fast. So he has pace. Dude does not know how to take angles when he's pressing. And a lot of the times where people are like, "Oh, look at him back there defending." Well, that's great. You just won the ball, and now we have no outlets because you were not supposed to be back there. Like he's over there pushing McAllister out of the way to win the ball, but now we won the ball and we have no outlet. Then he looks up, he doesn't have anybody to pass. You know why? You were supposed to be there to pass too. So
yeah,
like one thing to track back as a winger or track back your guy pressing in midfield, but there are times where people like he wins the ball in front of the box and everybody's like, "Oh, look at Diaz work rate." No, like be where you're supposed to be. It's a guy like he looks like a kid that you just put off the sub in a U8 game and he's just like running around like crazy because he's fresh and stuff like that. He has not improved anything in
yeah,
terms of like tactical,
yeah.
in terms of like understanding the game. And we've gone from system to freaking system. We said he doesn't fit Klopp. Maybe Slot will do something different. Different system, same guy. I'm
Right.
just not buying it.
It's
I
just
mean,
surprising. It's just surprising as well because he's more of a passion player, and you'd think he'd be a hand glove fit for the club system, where it's just a lot of heavy effort, heavy running, feeding off the crowd. He didn't fit that. Now he had to. We switched over to a more, dare I say, intellectual style, where you had to think more, and then there he found himself absolutely lost. Like it's just unfortunate. Yeah,
I mean, okay, here are
yeah,
you do not get the like footballing IQ, and I was really hoping, you see some improvement. Like we talked about this before, and we talked
yeah,
about it with Dickler, where the background, right? Like Gakpo coming through academies and stuff like that, whereas
yeah,
he's more, like built on his physicality and stuff. But in 3 years, if that football IQ is not increasing, you gotta show me a sign that something is gonna increase. And like you can have a very high ceiling. I had a very high ceiling, never reached it. So I mean, I mean, you can have the highest ceiling in the world where you're not like even standing up. Does not really matter. It's just not. He has the physical traits to be ridiculous, and I
yeah.
really do think he will go to somewhere and he will be ridiculous. And every time he scores goals, people will be back. Darwin will be here saying, um, he's like,
Yeah,
I
look.
told you guys, like he's really good and stuff. But for the Premier League, for this team, he just, I love the dude, like his efforts and stuff like that. I'm not saying he's not trying and stuff like that, but I think this is him. This is what you're going to get. If you're happy with this, then let's keep him. But I don't think anybody is happy with this. We're all
Yeah,
hoping he's going to become this thing. But in 3 years, we put him up here, he's going to be this.
yeah.
In 3 years, we're still here. Like we never even got closer. I feel like it's the same guy that was here 2 seasons ago.
Yeah, and I think there's the fact that he wants to start as well. Which, if he doesn't do like the bare minimum, I mean, even Jota, who hasn't scored a goal in months, Slot would still start him because he knows how to press off the ball. He knows like the structure and everything. Like as ineffective as he's been in front of goal in terms of the structure that Slot wants to have off the ball, he'd start Jota all day long,
Yeah.
and that's the reality for Nunez. He's not gonna start until he starts improving his what you're saying, the IQ, which again, it's been 3 years. He's the same player as he was that came in. It's not looking good, so we might as well cash in while the opportunity is still there.
And
Like
isn't that the
if
other part of it? You know what
yeah,
Darwin was saying, like in terms of who we're going to sell and
yeah,
keep. I mean, you gotta if you're gonna sell, there has to be a demand for him, and I'm sure there's a demand for him because I think Darwin,
yeah,
like yeah, there's a lot of physical traits, and you see the ceiling and the potential, and it will probably fits like another team better. I wish we could combine Jota's like football IQ with Nunez's physical traits and stuff like that. But going back to his question,
don't say football Jota's football IQ when if Matouche is around, by the way. I just caught some of the Monday show and then Matouche was just going off on Jota. It's deserved, by the way. It's deserved, by the way. Before anyone gets on my head, it's deserved. But
I just don't give
it's
him a lot of credit because he goes off on him all the time, deserved or not, to be fair. So Gakpo, Chiesa, Salah front three for the rest of the season. I would not be against it. I just don't see
right.
it. How about you?
I don't see it happening, but I would like to see Chiesa on that 9 role.
And we're almost like, like we're like, let's see what happens. Like, that's where we're
Yeah,
at. And maybe like
yeah,
Spurs was like, I've seen what happens in practice.
right.
Like, I mean,
Yeah,
we haven't seen it, but he's like, yeah, no, that's not gonna work. Or maybe he feels like he can't do like 90 minutes, like how it needs to be done, or he can. I mean, but he should be able to by now give you like 60 minutes of what
yeah.
he wants. I
Hmm.
don't know, man. That is like, I mean, I agree, Cody Falls, but I mean, I just don't. By the
Yeah,
way, you gotta really change that name because he's on left wing now. Like he's never gonna
yeah.
be.
He should be
He
Cody
doesn't.
left wing or something. Yeah, Cody left wing or something.
So who are
Like
you keeping? Who are you selling? I'm sorry. Say that again. Before that again.
Nunez is gone. Um, with Chiesa, I want to give him another season, Tim. But then
Yeah.
I want to give him another season. Um, with Diaz, I'm 50-50 still. But if we're not, like you said, left wing is a position of strength. If we're not looking to upgrade there, that we shouldn't sell him. Not at all. So it all depends. For me, it all depends what happens to Salah, right? If we keep Salah, we get it. We get an ideal Nunez replacement, and I feel like we're back in business. That's it.
I think so too. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah,
here's the thing. Like, I realize the recent form is weak, but Jesus,
yeah,
like we were talking about 3 months ago, having like the best fronts line in depth and stuff like that. So I know we go. It's like, what have you done for me lately? And when
hmm
we see like a slump, I mean, the Jota frustration with the injuries, I definitely totally get that. I understand
yeah.
that. And Nunez frustrations we talked about.
The Nunez frustrations with
But the
everything.
problem
I
with, I
totally
mean,
get
the other
that.
thing with Diaz, because you were selling Diaz last week. That's what we were arguing about last week. I just feel like, yeah, you keep him. I was trying to convince you, but the only issue there is he might be, along with Nunez, the
Looking,
only guy that can fetch you money, actually be valuable.
which is why I said I'm 50-50 on him. If we can identify a target that's not necessarily better than Diaz right now, like I was saying last week, but has the ceiling and we can fetch a good amount because I think I hear that you look on social media, Barcelona's sniffing. If they give us around 40 to 50, man, I'm taking that all day long for Diaz and getting his understudy because, like I said, Gakpo is my starting left wing, no question. Like if everyone is healthy, Gakpo is my starting left wing. You could have his understudy there, try and learn the league, and knowing Edwards' talent ID, it's pretty solid. That guy's gonna be a stud soon. So I would sell Diaz if we have a target. Now, what you convinced me by not just selling him outright. Like I would sell him under the condition that we find someone, under the Edwards talent ID, and we get to sell him for a decent fee. That's my stance on him. Like,
I think it depends on like what we do, though, right? I mean, the thing
right,
I didn't like with your plan last week was you sold everybody, and I didn't want to have that much of a change up top. And if it's a position of strength, let's not change that kind of a
right.
thing.
If someone offers us, right, assuming Nunez is going, if someone offers us a decent fee for Jota, though, what do you think?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
I mean,
like my argument
we need to
last
alone.
week. my argument last week is that these players are good, but then at the same time, I don't see them, with the exception of Gakpo and Salah, right? I don't see them being good enough to keep us up in a title race where City are firing on all cylinders, where Arsenal are firing on all cylinders. I personally don't see it, which is why I'm open to the idea if the opportunity arrives to upgrade them. I know it's a gamble, yes, but then at the same time, we know the ceiling of the guys that we have now. We know how much they could give in terms of the Jotas, the Nunez's, the
Yeah.
Diaz's, which is why I'm like, okay, so this is how much they could give. But if an opportunity arrives where, in theory, we can upgrade, I would take it if the price is right. Like if someone offers me
Yeah, the
50 for
price
D,
is right is
yeah,
the problem though, right?
right,
Because I
yeah.
mean, with Jota's
There's
income,
someone there. There's someone there that'll offer 40
I was
for
reading
Jota.
actually earlier
Yeah,
like Wolves would be interested and stuff, but Wolves would
right,
be interested if he's like, if he's on the closeout sale, in the in the back in the
right,
clearance aisle. Like, so I don't think they're gonna come in and like give a lot of money. It would be like, hey, if they let him go, we'll pounce on us. Is what I'm like guessing the
right.
approach would be more than anything else. But
Yeah,
by the way, I did kick Samuel out of the Facebook ads. He was posting like stupid stuff and links and stuff like that. If you join us on Facebook, just don't waste anybody's time with your links and stuff like that. We were talking with Darwin for God's sakes, and Samuel came in with his crap links over here. So international break. Are you following these games over here? I mean, I'm gonna have to watch Turkey tomorrow. I'm contractually obligated by passport.
I am going to savor the detox, the
Yeah,
17
I
day
probably would do the
detox.
same.
Yeah, like I just couldn't handle the toxicity after the game. Like literally, I was about to crash out when I could see what people are saying on. So and it doesn't help that my buddies are going like, "Oh, look at you, man! Like Salah and Virgil are going as well, just getting on my nerves." Like, listen, it's as much as we like to be composed, it's like as much as we like to think logically as fans. After the game, emotions get to you, right? And I'm really appreciating these 17 days of like detoxifying. To answer your question, Tim, I'm keeping an eye out on the Netherlands game because obviously I would love to see Gravenberch take the games off. I would like to see
Oh, okay,
yeah,
okay.
I would like to see Cody get some time in, get some sharpness in because like to be frank, the when he came in the last few games, he looked like an under 9 player who was just tossed in so he can get some playing time and his mom told the coach like, "Hey, how about my son? Get it some time." It's like he forgot to play football and that might be a sharpness issue, so we need Cody fit and firing to take some load off of Diaz, man. So those are the games that I'll be looking at.
Yeah, I mean, those are
Yeah,
like good games. I will
yeah,
definitely watch those because the Turkey game is at noon, my time. That's like the only early game. They made a special appearance for that. And then Italy plays Germany, Netherlands, Spain. There's some like good games in there actually, like to kind of
yeah,
keep an eye on. But that's the problem, like especially now, you're like just don't get injured, and ideally not even play. But Van Dijk is going to be out there. It'll be interesting to see how much Cody is out there.
yeah.
Like if he starts, I'm going to be like, what the hell, kind of a deal.
The
But it'll be interesting to see how much
the
he plays.
fact that he was taken for the Netherlands team means that he's at least at a satisfactory level of fitness. So that's good, I guess, for us. Maybe it's just his sharpness that
Are
needs
these
to.
guys going to be doing the same thing? That's what I was. Yes. So
Yeah,
everybody's playing again on Sunday,
right.
and then they're coming back. So that's like the good news. So everybody plays Thursday, Sunday, and then they're kind of done. I mean, I'm looking at next, like next Wednesday, for example. I don't see any international games. Next Tuesday there are some crap games, but I don't think we have anything from these teams over here. Um, yeah,
Yeah,
so like Monday is like the latest. I think there are some things playing, like England is playing and stuff like that. But yeah, most of the players will be done on Thursday. They'll get the rest. They'll come back. We'll be back to our mostly default settings. And like we looked at the schedule earlier, just gonna get to like rack up some points over there, and we'll be
yeah,
in business over here. So let's hope for that. Let's be optimistic over here. I mean, 12 points. I mean, thank God there was nobody in the audience who was worried about being bottling today. But sadly, this is probably going to be a lot of the conversation. But in terms of
yeah.
what to do for future plans, which I'm all like like I hate transfer things, but I know this summer is going to be whether I like it or not, is going to be very transfer heavy with outgoings,
It,
income,
it
stuff like
yeah,
that.
it's how massive it is for me because obviously we win the title. What do you do next, right? What do you do next to build off of it? And the last few weeks have shown that as good as this squad is, there are still holes that can be fixed. So, do we
Yeah.
fix these holes and try and go for a back-to-back, three-peat, whatever, or are we just content with one and and then wait for 5 years again before we
I
can
mean,
get one?
dude,
Yeah,
that's going to be
yeah,
and I do
yeah,
think
yeah.
part of me says, and I worry about this, is if you're going to blow it up, it's a great time to blow it up.
I think so too. I think so too because I can take winning the league title now, uh, try and build up for the next 2 years and then compete again. I can take that. I
And you don't need, I mean, that's
Yeah,
the thing though. I mean, that
yeah,
basically would be like a whole blowing up kind of a deal. But I mean, I don't know if you're able to keep two out of the three,
yeah.
you're not gonna, because those guys would not stay for the whole blow. And that might be one of the things. They're like, hey, what is the plan over here? Like, are we gonna
The,
keep
the, the
going
thing
at it
is,
to win this?
I feel like it won't even be too much of a a blowing up thing. Like, let's say we lose Trent, Salah. Let's say, for example, we lose Trent and Salah. We keep Van Dijk. We're obviously gonna get their replacements. We'd still make top four, right? We'd still be good enough to make top four. I feel we'd be just outside league title winning status. I feel, but I feel like we'll be a decent team, and then we build on those pieces for the next 2 years before we can be elite again by maybe
Yeah, it
year
really depends
three.
on how
Yeah,
much depth you add and who you get
yeah,
up top and stuff like that, right? I mean, the
yeah,
problem is, replacing these guys is going to be expensive. That takes away from what you can do because you're gonna
yeah.
need a right back. You're gonna need like somebody up top. You're probably gonna need a left back. You do need another center back. Even if Van Dijk stays, you need another center back. Like, what's gonna happen with Gomez? It's like a summer we're going into with a lot of questions. I'm hoping that once we come back and we win a couple of games, the mood will change because everybody is down now. So it's
Mm,
more like, how are we going to fix this? So everybody's trying to like blow everything up. But it'll be interesting to see. Like I said, you can't blow things up when you lose the title by 2 points, 5 points, and stuff like that. I would be afraid that they would say, yep, this is the time. We just won. So people should be content for a couple of years now because we just won. And then, and then rebuild. It would be very American of them to do that, to be honest with you. So I'm sure we'll
yeah,
get a lot of shit for it over here, even though we have nothing to do with it. But
yeah.
but
Don't
the
shoot the
boys will be back.
messengers for God's sake! Like,
Don't shoot the damn messenger.
yeah,
Um, we will be the boys will be back tomorrow night. I'm sure they'll talk a lot more about this stuff. I don't expect if Darwin the goat, I will not tune in tomorrow night because if you think we're
oh
harsh on
yeah,
Darwin,
yeah.
Jesus, those guys
we
are.
actually we actually show Darwin some decency here. We give him the props where it needs to. If you go to the Thursday night pod, my friend, geez, you'd think Darwin cheated on them with their wives or something.
Yeah, it's pretty rough. Those guys really have it out for
Yeah.
us. But yeah, do tune in for that 7 o'clock Central, 8 o'clock Eastern, and then hopefully starting this weekend and coming into next week, we'll be doing a bunch of announcements of a lot of new stuff heading your way, kind of putting the final pieces together over here. But do stay tuned in for that. Check out our social media as we keep updating it. But that's it for us today. And we'll see you guys. I'll see you guys Friday, but the boys will be here tomorrow night. Take care.